I'm joined here today by the one and only Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. Belal, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. Let me ask you off the top. We mentioned your nickname, Remember the Name. Has that worked in your favor? Like, do you feel like people remember the name more because of the nickname, or are people remembering the nickname more?
I think that people remember them more because of the nickname, and it just like gets to the point now where I'm starting to like sometimes you'll get like other fighters like posting, remember this guy's name or that guy's name, and I'll have like just fans like tweet me out, hey, Bully B, this guy's trying to steal a line or something like that. So
Right.
I like that people are actually starting to like put that with me, put that with me. That saying.
That's perfect. All right, listen, let's talk a little bit about something that not something quite to do with fighting, but being that you're a Chicago guy, we saw recently The Last Dance came out featuring our boys Michael Jordan and of course the Bulls from '98. First things first, man, what did you think of this series? Did it live up to the expectations that you feel like it gave the people?
I mean, it was awesome, especially now during these times where everybody's in quarantine. Like it gave you something to anticipate every week, and I thought it was exciting. I thought it was cool. I felt like they went deeper in with a couple of the things. I wanted to just see more of it, but that was just me being greedy. But I thought in the end it was a really good show. I thought it showed like some cool sides of the players you didn't see, and then you get to see more of Jordan and show like people like millennials and stuff that don't even know who how good he actually was, like what kind of player he was and what kind of mentality he has. And then it also like even being a fighter like gives you that mentality like after watching a show like I want to work harder. I want to go work out or something like that right after watching it,
Right.
just from the type of guy he was.
But they were talking about how he was with his teammates, how he was an ass and everything. I assume being a fighter, you couldn't quite do that with your teammates, though. I assume they'd be on your ass pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing with like fighting because I mean if you're gonna punch harder or something like that in training or something like that, but like in like in other ways you can like if you want to sit guys or push guys to roll harder or hit the bag or do extra cardio or something after practice, like that type of mentality will work in fighting, I think.
But listen, speaking about the series, obviously I love the series. I'm a big fan of the Bulls. Unfortunately, I'm very young, so I wasn't quite around back then to watch them live. But I thought it was good. I don't know about you, but I was surprised we didn't hear more from Ron Harper and even Tony Kukoc. I felt like there were some important guys that they kind of left out in that one.
Yeah, I feel like those guys were big keys in the game, but I think it was more so focused around like everybody wants to just see Jordan type thing.
Right.
So Jordan's the star, Jordan's the goat. So like, and that's I understand why they would put it on them. And I know there's a couple guys that actually didn't even like want to do interviews and stuff like that. I know
Karl
like Luke
Malone.
Longley didn't want to be a part of it.
All right.
So like, yeah, so it's probably harder for just ESPN to like get a hold of those guys.
I mean, they did get some really good interviews though. Even getting John Stockton, I heard Carl Malone and I forgot who the other guy was. What's his name? Brian Russell. There you go. I was like, not Byron. Brian Russell wouldn't do it either. So they got some pretty good interviews. But yeah, like I didn't realize the Luke Longley thing.
Yeah. I heard that one through the grapevine that like yeah he didn't want to be a part of it and like he was in Australia or something like that,
Yeah.
and it was surprising, but I was like, yeah, guys, once they're out of the game, they're out of the league now. They probably don't even care unless you're going to pay them some good money to be a part of it. But yeah, they probably don't really care about it anymore.
But so where were you back then during the '90s and stuff? Were you old enough to appreciate the Chicago Bulls, or were you like me and it's kind of like you got to go back and watch later on as you get older?
I mean, I wasn't old enough to appreciate their greatness, but I was like at how good they were. But like, I always watched the Bulls. I was always every game. I'm always in the backyard. That's what my first love was, basketball. So like, I'm always in the backyard, acting like Michael Jordan, shooting
Yeah.
shots, always playing like I'm every single player on the Bulls. So like, I knew who all the Bulls players were, but like, you didn't really appreciate how good they actually were at that time because I was like too young. But I would always stay up, watch their games and stuff like that.
I guess it's got to be pretty disappointing today when on the team the closest guy you have to Michael Jordan is Zach Levine. Like it's not quite the same.
Yeah, Chicago sports really fell off. All of our teams have been pretty bad lately, and yeah, especially like basketball when you're a fan, and then when you had that Derrick Rose come in MVP, and you're like, all right, we have something here,
Right.
we have something here. And then all of a sudden, injury, and you're like, god dang it, we're never gonna have it again. We got spoiled with them six championships.
All right. They gave you six championships and they're like, all right, that's enough. I mean,
Yeah,
even Derrick Rose started teasing everybody with that team, and then yeah, like you mentioned, now it's like it's completely over unless Zach Levine ends up being the guy.
yeah. We had a couple, even with Ben Gordon, we had a couple fun playoff runs with stuff after Derrick Rose, but it was like nothing where you ever thought like we have a championship team. We have a dynasty or something like that. Like we haven't been close to that in a while.
I feel like the closest you guys came though was Jimmy Butler. Like that even today you look at him best guy in Miami, but like he tends to get in fights with everybody in the front office.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I feel like he's one of those good players, but like he doesn't raise the stock of his teammates. I don't think he's that type of guy. Or I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to get his teammates to play up to his level. He's one of those guys that's all right. I'm good. You guys need to either level up with me or get out of my way.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. All right, listen, I'm sure for the people watching, it's like, all right, we want some fighting talk, so let's talk about it. You've got a fight against Lyman Good coming up. I feel like this fight's been talked about forever. They're trying to get it. Take us to the beginning, though. How did this fight come together? I mean, was it just like you understood that this was going to be next no matter what?
Yeah, once we got booked for the April 18th card. I thought it was an exciting fight, exciting name, and I knew it was going to be a good fight for the fans. And it was a huge card, Khabib Ferguson card. And then it started getting rough once the COVID hit. And then I was like, you know what? They're not going to cancel the card. We have Khabib and Tony. Like, there's no way they're going to cancel Khabib and Tony. And then all of a sudden, a week down, and then Tony gets, Khabib stuck in Russia. You're like, oh crap! But then they pick up Gaethje. You're like, oh well, that's another great card. So we still have the fight. And then Lyman pulled out, and I'm like, what the heck? Lyman pulled out. So then I'm like, you're stuck in limbo. But then they were like, yeah, we're gonna get you an opponent. We're gonna get you somebody else, a replacement. But then you're stuck with, all right, they're gonna give me a replacement, and then you still have to deal with is the card gonna even happen because of COVID?
Right.
So I'm still just training, and you're like, what am I training for right now? I don't even have an opponent, and I don't even know if there's gonna be a card. And then they're like, yeah, card's gonna happen, and oh yeah, we're working on an opponent at this name. And I'm like, all right, I don't really care as long as I have a fight. I'm happy. I've been training hard. And then once it was that week before, and I was like, they canceled the whole card. It was just like heartbreaking because it's more mentally than anything. When you have a name, right, you're motivated. You have a name. You know what you're training for. You know the style you're training for, and you just have a goal. You have your goal. But then once your opponent gets hurt, and then you're stuck looking for a different opponent, you're still motivated because you have a date intact. Then when it's to the point where the dates maybe getting canceled and the opponent, so like it was two different things I had to worry about. It was just so much stress. But then once the card got canceled, it's kind of like, all right, whatever, fine. And then you're like, I don't know when we're gonna fight again. And then they try to call me for like early May, but then I was like, I don't want to get wait again and then have a fight canceled again. So I was like, all right, let me see you guys do a couple cards. Then I know it's for sure. Then I'm down to get on any card. And then with Ramadan coming on, it was like right in the middle of May. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do anything in June. I'm happy to do. And then they called me again, throwing a couple of names out there. Then they called me again, said the Lyman's ready to again. And I said, all right, cool, perfect. That was a fight I wanted. That was a fight I liked, and I trained for multiple times. So I'm like, let's do that one again.
So speaking of Lyman, we found out though not too long ago that he had actually gotten infected with the COVID-19. Quite frankly, does it bother you at all knowing that, or is it just about putting the trust in that? Listen, if he's able to fight, then it means no big deal.
Yeah, no, like it's one of those where if he's gonna get tested, he's gonna get good. I feel like this thing's not gonna go away unless everybody gets it and everybody goes through it. So I feel like whether something happens during the fight or something like that, I doubt he still has it now, but like it could happen at any moment. I could go on a plane and sit next to somebody and they'll have it, or I could walk into a grocery store and somebody could touch me and I'll get it. So it's not like one of those I'm gonna live in fear and try to just stay in my basement all day and do absolutely nothing. I'm not one of those guys gonna live like that. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. I know the what the symptoms are, and I feel like my body's strong enough to go through it and take it. So like it's one of those where I just want to start getting back to living and fighting, and just wanting to see the world get back to normal.
And I know at one point a subject that was really interesting for everyone is that you had posted a picture from your apartment along with Jared Gordon, and we found out that you guys didn't have a TV stand at the time. Have you got? And I tried to say something about it, and Jared wasn't too happy with me telling me about his house in New York and everything. But so I'm going to ask you, as someone who's not mad at me for that, do you guys finally have a TV stand?
Nah, not yet. We said after the next fight that we both get, we're gonna celebrate with the TV stand and then go from there. But yeah, Jared lives in multiple places. He lives in Florida. He lives in freaking beautiful condo out there. He has a mansion in New York.
Yeah.
I don't really care about Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, because I asked him, I thought it was kind of a fun thing. Like, man, did you guys get a TV stand? And, he came at me a little aggressive, attached the picture of the house. It's kind of like, all right, man, I'm looking out for you and Belal. Like, I just want to make sure you watch TV correctly.
Nah, dude, that's that New York attitude from Jared.
Yeah. All right, so listen, this fight against Lyman, are you able to train the way you want to for this one, or are things getting a little bit shifted? I know a lot of guys are having issues with having enough training partners, or some of them even like it more.
No, actually, I'm getting some really good work in with in Chicago. I was getting a lot of good work in at Valley Flow Martial Arts with them guys down there. They had a really good group. And then I just came out to Dallas. I'm gonna be out here for a week to train at Fortis MMA
Oh,
with
okay.
Coach Saif Saud and them for a week, getting some good training partners here. Uh, I'm one of those guys where I like to learn from like the top coaches, best coaches, and if you're not evolving, if you're not putting yourself in comfortable positions, you're not going to grow. So I'm one of those guys where I like to get around. I know the guys don't like to move or don't like to cross train or anything like that. And I'm one of those guys. I like to get different looks, different ideas, different mindsets, and then just seeing different the way different people train. And I feel that's going to help me raise my game to another level.
And so your last fight was, of course, in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. How was that experience for you? Was that your first time going there, or had you been there before?
No, that was my first time going there. That was it was amazing down there. It was one of those where I was like expecting to do it every year, where they said we have a 5 year plan with them, and I was like, God, they're not going to be able to go this year. Yeah, it was like super exciting. The fans out there were amazing. Uh, just the way they embraced everybody there. It was like the best thing I've ever done, and like I'm in debt to like the UFC for like being able to take me there. Like those type of experiences are why I'm in the fight game, and were you able to go to different parts of the world and just see different things and just experience those things that you wouldn't experience without being a fighter.
And so on this sort of winning streak that you're on, you currently have two fights. On the next one, that would add you to a 3 fight winning streak. What does that do for your career if you get this win over Lyman Good? I assume at this point you start to get sort of a push into that top 15, top 10 sort of territory.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should. I won 6 out of my last 7 fights. So it's at that point now where it's like the ranked guys don't want to fight nobody below them. So it's getting to that annoying part where ranking started to get annoying,
Yeah.
and nobody's actually wanting to fight. And now guys are just using the excuse of I don't have training, I can't do this, I can't do that to fight. But it's one of those. If you're a true fighter, you're gonna find a way to you're gonna find a gym to train at. Like if you're in the UFC, your coach is gonna open up the gym for you. You're just not trying to work hard. You're not trying to be disciplined with your diet. Like this is the point now where where you find out who's really in this to be a real martial artist. Like you're in quarantine, you're stuck at home all day, so it's either you could get up and go work out and make a gym in your garage, or just do something in your basement, or even for a jog, or you could just sit on the couch and eat all day. And that's it's gonna make you to that lazy point where you're like, I'll wait for something good to happen, or give me a couple months, or give me until September where I'm back in shape. I'm one of those guys that like I'm always working, I'm always training, I'm always trying to get better at all times. So like you said, anything could pop up at any moment. Like this COVID came out of nowhere, and injuries come out of nowhere. So it's like if I'm healthy, I'm young at an age where I feel like I'm coming into my prime. I want to get as many fights in as I can.
And so, important question for during the quarantine. A lot of people had different ways of dealing with it, but we see you've got the luscious beard, the hair going on, of course. How did you deal with no barbershops? Are you one of those people that waited it out, or did you take things into your own hand?
No, I waited it out. I sat there and after about like 6 weeks, I had one of my guys that I know that he was cutting hair. He was like going to people's houses and cutting hair with like masks and gloves on, but he charged me like $80 for a haircut, and I was like, all right. I was desperate. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, well, it looks good though. I mean, some people like myself chose to shave. I shaved my head, which I found out was a mistake 2 seconds afterwards, especially because it gets cold up there. That's not something I realized.
Yeah. I was at the point where I was thinking about it, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not gonna go that desperate. But my beard was getting pretty big, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll shave the beard. And then I saw a couple guys do it, and I was like, nah, I can't do it, man. I'm just gonna wait. And then
Yeah.
finally got a barber to actually come over and do it. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll pay for that one.
Yeah, I bet you that relief, it must have felt good though when you see all the hair start falling off. Everything starts looking fresh again. It must have felt amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a haircut, you look good, you feel good,
Right.
like just your whole attitude. When you're sitting there at home, you look in the mirror, you like close the mirror again, you like get out of my face, you don't even want to look in there, and then you look at yourself, you walk to the fridge, you're eating ice cream, you're like, what's wrong with you? Get up and go jog or something like that. It's getting to that point where you're gonna like, all right, it's starting to get depressing out here.
All right. So let's get back to your fight, man. Just one last question for you. Kind of an obvious one that you're going to get a million times, but how do you see this fight with Good playing out come June?
I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. I plan on going in there and breaking him. He always comes to fight, comes to bang. So I think it's going to be a fight for the fans, and especially during these times where we're the only sport on TV, I feel like it's going to get a lot of views.
All right. Well, we look forward to it. It's going to be a great fight. It's a long time coming. It's going to be good to see you back out there. Thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.